Stop making your trading more difficult than it needs to be. Just trade with the overall trend, but more importantly, use proper risk management. I'm seeing so many traders get blown out of the game too early on in the day before we even get all the information we need, and now they can't capitalize on the later moves. But let's first go over the beautiful setup here at the open. So looking at NQ was a lot more bearish than ES to start the session of clean lower highs and lower lows. Clearly, we must be looking for shorts today. It's been sellers in control. You can see the open come in. Buyers try to take New York VWAP. They fail. They fail again. Another lower high. We got a break of opening range low. I'm going to sound repetitive, but first break of open range low doesn't often run. I don't want to be chasing that for shorts or any direction, right? Even if it broke the open range high first, I never want to chase the first break of it. Case in point right here. But okay, let's look for this retest to New York and go see this second break of open range low on what is clearly a bearish trend. Sellers in control today. But again, I think it also helps not to be strongly biased heading into the open, right? We're going to look at the information that we receive. But I'm not bearish. It's going to have to really convince me that we're going to want to sell off today. Because if I bring up the 15-minute here on the left, where does this move down at the open actually take us to? The overnight VWAP, right? So it was clearly bullish overnight. My bias is not bearish just because we've been moving lower for 20 minutes. If we could break this overnight VWAP and continue lower, then sure, maybe I'll be looking for shorts. We're getting sustained move lowers and sellers are keeping that control. But actually, it's where I want to be looking for longs. So rather than taking the short, you probably want to be looking for the first sign to buy it after that retest, which is a break above New York VWAP, saying buyers are back in. They just retested the underneath VWAP. Let's go continue higher. On that one, you're not going to catch this whole move, but you could definitely take it for a nice 1R win or even trade it outside the open range for a 0.8R winner. Regardless, you can see when it's back in overall trend, you get a nice strong move because buyers are quickly back in control. Now, I did a mistake on Monday, and I talked about it in the YouTube video that was out on that day. I get in a long up here after seeing this strong rip higher. We get a small pullback, break of high day VWAP. All right, let's keep taking this thing higher. But if you've seen any of my YouTube videos, this is not a proper pullback to me that I want to get involved in, because where's my stop on this? Where do I want to be out of the longs if this goes into drawdown? I have no idea. I would want to be long as long as we're above this New York, but I'm not going to give it a 100-point stop down here with the price at high of day. So I did have it below structure, allowing it that space to breathe. And it gave some attempts to try to hold, right? Maybe still respecting these higher lows underneath. Saying, yeah, buyers are trying to build this shelf down here, right? Even especially right there, it looked like it was ready to finally go. That's right, when it all turned back around. So I don't love the longs from this high up. If we could have waited for that full pullback, which is what I preach in Futures 2.0, which is the whole strategy I have on ASFX TV, you guys can get free access if you just click the link down below and use code FIRST. I want to see the full pullback to New York and see when buyers defend that. I can get a way better buy price and go catch that next higher high rather than chasing it at the higher high, right? Long it at the top of a move. Let it pull back, we'll long it later on, but I didn't wait for that. A little bit of impatience or maybe thinking this is just going to keep on drifting without me. Now with the bounce play, we can go over here to ASFX TV real quick and you'll see the chapters within it. You can study this full entire course. The break and the bounce play above my head here, you can see, it's not as simple as when we get to New York, I'm buying it. It's going to bounce? No, I need to see it actually bounce, that buyers defended it, and it's a level that it's being respected and I want to buy it off of, right? So I'll buy it on its way back up after it defended that level. You can see it's just a falling knife. If you try to buy it there, you catch the falling knife and buyers don't defend that level at all. So hopefully it didn't jump in as it's falling, hoping it would turn back around. On a day when we see it slow down and turn back bullish, that'll be your sign to long it. But all right, makes a new low a day. Buyers really couldn't sustain that move higher despite that 15-minute trend we went over in the beginning of the video. I can't just chase this move lower. Of course I could. Of course I could. But do I want to? How far does this want to go? Why is this moving so aggressively? Let's just wait for a pullback. Let's let things cool off. But it does make a new low a day. So it's no longer making higher highs and higher lows potentially. It just made a lower low. So sellers are fully in if we didn't already get that hint already. And we're back below that overnight VWAP we were looking at. All right, let's see if we can get a pullback. I'll anchor now a low of day VWAP with the long bias out the window. So inversely of what I was longing it on a break of high of day VWAP. I'm going to short it on a break of low of day VWAP, saying sellers are 100% back in control. We get a nice pullback close to New York here. I think on ES it was actually even cleaner. But regardless, when sellers step back in, you want to give it a nice short with stop loss, not at current structure, previous structure back here to the left. The best example of that would be if you sold it on this break of low a day VWAP, saying, okay, sellers are back in. We had a nice maybe 20, 30 minute pullback. If I go with the stop loss at current structure, just stopped out for no reason. I still want to be short underneath New York. But if I bring it to previous structure back here to the left, right, it's a small one, but it's better than current structure. If there's no clear structure to the left, it still should never be right here at current. It's the least safe, the most obvious that it's likely to get wicked out plenty of times and still move in your direction. So worst case scenario, you lose, you don't get back in. The other case is you lose because you had a tight stop, you see it break lower day view up again, you get back in and you make it back, right? But we don't want to have to always be trying to make back our losses when we could have had just a clean winner. And you can see sellers clearly continue that trend, right? So rather than chasing almost like what I did on the longs earlier, seeing this short pullback and selling it right then and there, of course it could have paid, it could have ran. But if I put a stop loss even that holds, you can see how it's not ready to leave. That's just so quick. It's 10, 15 minutes. It normally likes to take a wider breath. I like the bigger pullbacks, the bigger the better. That when we could see sellers take a break for 45 minutes to an hour, and now they're stepping back in, yeah, we could definitely go see another big move come because it's not like we're exhausted from just having made this one prior. So there was the short there. And I think the shorts are easier to see, not that we just went over those lower lows there. But if I bring up this markup, you can see the initial balance, these red lines, so that's the first hour of the day rather than the first 15 minutes. We were looking bullish to start the day, right? But the initial balance low was actually broken first on that lower low that we made. So longs are out the window if they weren't already. But it's very unlikely that we would find the strength to move all the way back up towards that high and double break it because we took out the low here. We probably don't double break this level. If we go over to edge fill and NQ by the size of this initial balance, because it was another pretty big one with the volatility, you can see only 5 out of the last 41 times we had an initial balance this wide has it double broken. So being that we took out this bottom, yeah, I don't think we're going to probably also break the top. So let me just wait for sellers to step back in and trade it in the direction of that first break. And you can hopefully keep that short biased anywhere underneath New York view up here and catch that extended move lower. And like I said, all of this is taught in Futures 2.0 where I teach the full VWAP strategy, the break play, the bounce play, and the reclaim play. There is an update coming to it as well. But then we stream it every single day. All the trades we're taking are live here. You can see there's the early long opportunities this morning. All the trades. So tune in there, ask questions, get feedback on the trades, see if you're understanding the strategy. And of course, always ask questions. But other than that, comes all the way back up. But hopefully you're done making your money by 3 p.m. I don't really ever trade in the way afternoon because I don't know what it's going to want to do. I may look at VWAPs, but I don't know how much gas is left in the tank. It's also just funny to look at when I clear all these drawings. We started the day, make up the price, pretty much 25,000. And we ended the day 24,942. So it's 60 points nonetheless. But on NQ in this volatility, that's not that far, you could see. The whole day we did nothing. It moved higher, it moved lower, but at the end of it, right back where we started. Pretty annoying when you think about it, of all of this noise, but we just came back to where we started. What the hell? So not very predictable. It did not continue trend in either direction. It gave moves in both directions to make money on, right? There was definitely money to be made on these longs here if you're reading that 15-minute and trading on the right side of New York. Maybe someone even took the short here on the break below New York VWAP. You catch that leg of it. Let it pull back. You catch the next leg of it. So I'd say there's probably 3 legs of trend you could try to trade today. Other than that, you're probably scalping, trying to find a little bit of move. But these 3 here are the ones that would fit Futures 2.0 in my VWAP strategy. And 3 is all you need. All you need is potentially 1. If you made this long in the morning, I'd probably argue, why are you even shorting it later on in the afternoon? Get off the desk. You got to rip for a new high. 10, 20 minutes, nothing but profit. That's not good enough. Get out of here, right? Another thing to look at is Top 1's sale is live again. 55% off if you use code Evan. The link is always down below. You guys can also copy trade 5 accounts again. So I know many of you probably already have an account. So let's say you have 3. You can go buy 2 more and copy trade up to 5. Or you don't have to copy trade them. You could copy trade 3 and copy trade the other 2. Have baskets of your trading, right? Whatever. But 5 accounts copy traded, 55% off. It's the best deal that they're ever going to run. Nothing will be above 55 and nothing will be more than 5 accounts. So it's the best time to get funded if you need more accounts or if you need any account. So check that out down below. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. Feel free to ask any questions like I said. I'll see you guys on the charts tomorrow morning.